Hello, Angel. Hi, David. Honestly, David is stalking me on all my channels, everywhere I go, with his salutations and greetings. It's like, hello, V. Hi, V. How you doing, V? It's like, oh. Like, if someone says hello to you, you feel bad for not responding. So you have to say hello back. It's bizarre. It's like when you go past the beggar, and the beggar is like, spare some change, mister. And you just walk past, and the beggar is like, God bless you, sir. And you're like, oh, God, now I have to give him because he was nice. It's like, oh, that type of psychology always works on me. Why? And it's the same with David. You're reading the comment section. And by the way, I do read the comment section even if I don't reply. And I see David there, and it's like, hello, V. And it's like, oh, I have to respond. Is equality not reason enough? So this is why I buy a PlayStation. How am I becoming more equal to the homeless man if I buy a PlayStation 5? Yeah, he is in my feed, greeting me incessantly. That's a big problem. So let's look at what the press is talking about, the newest game, the newest hot shit, which is Battlefield 2042. And this is a company that got reamed last time for pushing, I guess you can say they pushed diversity, but I don't know what they were pushing. Like, it was a woman on the box in a World War II game with a mechanical arm. Like, nothing screams World War II to me more than that. So the fans were upset. They got major criticism, and they're like, now that they're saying, it's like, oh, our video game has nothing to do with politics. Good. That doesn't mean the game can't be political, by the way. Like, I don't mind. Apparently, like, in their new game, there's a theme of climate change, right? It's 2042, and there's hurricanes and stuff. I don't mind, okay? Like, if you want to do that, go for it. Just don't lecture people. Like, I don't want you to see... I don't want to see people getting banned on forums because they disagree with it. I don't want to see people getting hot takes from the developers because they don't share the same artistic vision. Right? So that's the problem. When people complain about politics in video games, they complain that it's preachy. They complain that it has nothing to do with the story. They complain about the censorship. That's what people complain. But in this case, it's like, okay, you know, a World War game where you got like hurricanes and stuff. That's cool. I'm not upset about it. What I am upset is that there's no campaign. Why is there no campaign? I know a lot of people don't like it, right? Like, a lot of people aren't interested in the campaign. That's fair enough. I happen to be one of the people that do like the campaign. So if you remove the campaign, what exactly am I getting instead? They remove the classes, and now you have like interesting soldiers, which I guess it's going on the route of what is that game called? The Apex Hero Legends bullshit, where you get like different soldiers with interesting abilities. I suspect it's that. Like, I don't know if it's that, but right. So instead of like people talking about this, IGN talks about the politics. Right. So this is like the modern state of the video gaming industry. It's just so bizarre. It is so bizarre because there used to be a time when you had like 2 or 3 games coming out every single month. Like, every single month you would have like 2, 3, maybe sometimes even 4 video games. And it was like an assault on your wallet. Like, you couldn't keep up with the video games that were coming up. But now it's like, well, you get like 2, maybe 3 video games that are good a year. Sometimes that's even a bit too much. E3 is on and there's no games for PlayStation 5. Yeah, we're going to talk about PlayStation 5 in a bit. Let's look at the game overview. So, what is it? All Out Warfare. Okay. I mean, this isn't a feature of the game. This is something that I expect from Battlefield, right? Like, this is what the franchise is about, so. 128 players. I don't really like this, to be honest. Like, sometimes less is more, but, you know, it is part of the franchise. I would have loved if they had, like, some ranking system. Some way that you can show off, like, you know, in Apex Legends, I believe you also have, like, ranks. Oh, sorry, not Apex Legends. Overwatch. You get ranks and stuff. Kind of that's something that I enjoy, but okay. Hazard Zone. Squad up and drop down into the Hazard Zone. High stakes multiplayer experience. More information coming. Why the universe? Blah 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 blah. You get maps. All right, well, really nice. Dynamic world. Experience ever-changing battle conditions and gameplay challenge. In other words, you get dust in front of you. Okay, it's hard to shoot at people through the dust. Cutting-edge arsenal. In other words, every single rifle looks the same. Minor differences, though. Kind of something that I miss. Like, you know what would be cool? Like, well, if you make this video game in 2021, it will sell. All right? Guaranteed, it will sell. An arena shooter done right. What do I mean by this? Let me show you what I mean by this. If you were to make right now, in 2022, a AAA game with modern graphics and ranking system that's an arena shooter, right? So you go around free for all, no teams, no nothing. You go around, you pick up the power-ups, you pick up the weapons, which are really cool and different than each other, and you're shooting someone else. That would actually sell. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, but Doom decided to move away from this. They didn't want to go with this. Why would you not want to go with this? This is so cool. You play Doom, it's team-based, and it's like one person is the Doom Slayer and two demons. Like, why you do this? Why can't you do this instead? Just do this instead. This is great. Why can't we have this from a AAA company now? What is wrong with this? Huh? When did this stop being fun? Did it ever stop being fun? Because I don't remember this stop being fun. Like, for some reason, companies just stopped doing this. Why did they stop doing this? It's not expensive to make. It's not difficult in any way, shape, or form. Why did we got less of this and we started getting only this? When did this happen? Like, I remember going into every single LAN cafe and like every single LAN cafe you go and we saw players playing this. Yeah, run around like idiots all the time, but it was fucking fun. I don't know how to articulate why it was fun. Hey, if you want to talk about things like that idiots like to do, get a pickaxe and throw it around in a pixelated game. Game of the Year edition. It doesn't have to be... What do you mean no esport? What are you talking about? You're telling me that this doesn't have esport potential? Are you insane? Are you crazy? Are you cuckoo? Like, this screams esports all over it. A lot of people would love to play this. You know, they used to have the Assault. The Assault map was kind of cool. You had like two teams if you want to have team-based stuff. Capture the Flag was really great. I mean, you can have esports based around this. You can have loot boxes. Of course you can have loot boxes if you want. You can get like different character skins and weapon skins. Like, the weapon does the same stuff, but it looks different. Why wouldn't you be able to have loot boxes? What do you think? What is the name of that game? Overwatch? Do you think Overwatch doesn't have loot boxes? What are you talking about? Minecraft esports. Yeah, does Minecraft have esports? Worse than a lack of campaign is a lack of mod support. I didn't even know that. The more I learn, the more I get myself shocked. BF9042, BF2, and BF2140 didn't have campaigns, but the mod support was great. Which helped the game stay alive for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, and I might, but like, please correct me, wasn't BF2 cheaper because it didn't have a campaign? Really curious. Right, so like, this is an entire genre of video games. The Unreal Tournament, the Deathmatch, which is completely gone. Like, you don't see it in single player. Sorry, you don't see it in indie games, you don't see it in AAA games. Like, for some reason, this entire genre is dead. And I don't know when it died. I legitimately don't know when it died, but like one day they just stopped making these games. And instead, all you get are the modern base shooters where every single rifle looks the same for an unexperienced person like me. Live service, the world, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a bad game, by the way, like from the looks of it. I don't think that this is a game that I wouldn't have fun playing. But the problem is, like, number one, I would have fun playing for maybe 1 month before I would get bored. And the other problem that I have is that they charge full price for it. Like, if you're going to remove the campaign and you're going to show me this man on a dress, I would rather... Well, why does he have a dress? Oh, so that it's more aerodynamic? Okay, brilliant. Absolutely nice. Nice Tushi, by the way. Unreal Tournament was killed by Fortnite. Nah, nonsense. Unreal Tournament was long dead before Fortnite even became a thing. The new Doom is kind of like an arena shooter. Yeah, the single player is kind of like an arena shooter, but the multiplayer is not. I mean, the multiplayer, from what I understand, you get to play either as a demon or as the Slayer. And you don't run around picking up weapons. Like, that's what an arena shooter is. You run around picking up weapons and stuff. Okay, let's talk about the other thing, about which is the PlayStation 5 and why on earth people would buy it. The only reason you would buy a PlayStation 5, in my opinion, right now, is to show that you're upper middle class. Okay, if you're an upper middle class twat, you buy a PlayStation 5. So, okay, you buy a PlayStation 5. Why would you want to do it? Like, why do you buy a console? Well, you buy a console because you want to play the exclusives, right? Like, that is one of the only reasons why you'd buy a console over buying the game for PC, right? Like, with the money for a PlayStation, you can use it to upgrade your PC, buy a new graphics card or something. So what are the exclusives? Well, Demon Slayer is an exclusive, and by the way, like, that's the only reason why I would buy a PlayStation 5. Literally the only reason I would buy a PlayStation 5 is to play Demon Slayer, because that game looks dope. I really love what they did with it. But other than Demon Slayer, I get this game for $70. $70 fucking dollars in a time. Sorry, my bad. I don't want to spread misinformation. $69.99. $69.99. By the way, you know what's funny? In Romania, the grades at school were from 1 to 10, right? And if I would go to my mom, and I would, if I would go to my mom and I say, hey, I got 69 on the math quiz, she would go like, why did you get a 6? Why did you get a 6? Why couldn't you study harder? Why did you get a 6? It's like, no, Mom, I didn't get a 6. I got a 69. And I know you got a 6. But when my mom went shopping and she would see the price tags, like $69.99 for a detergent, she was like, oh, this is $7. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? You should have got 6 at math, not me. Unreal Tournament is not dead. You can still play the Skeleton Alpha version that Epic stopped developing to focus on Fortnite. Oh, I see what happened. Right, fine. Now I understand the controversy. $69.99. Is that a marketing meme? No, I don't think they thought about it. Even though you have like a chick and the guy on the on the box. $69.99. After taxes, it's 70 plus. Yeah, so Ratchet and Clank. I actually read a little bit about the lore in order to be able to make the stream. Ratchet and Clank used to be a very old game. I believe it was on PlayStation 2 initially. And the game focused a lot of edgy teenage humor for that time. I mean, on that time, you weren't really allowed to curse in video games. You know, like hyper-violence was not okay. And Ratchet and Clank definitely had a little bit of edginess to it. Wasn't Beavis and Butthead edgy, but it was definitely edgy. You know, it pushed some boundaries for that time. And it was a fun story. It got like a really cool plot twist. I liked it. I loved it. And then they had a reboot. I believe it was 2015, 2016. They had like a reboot, and then that reboot in the franchise had like a different vision on it. And now, from looking at the trailer of the new Ratchet and Clank, it seems to be filled with childish humor. So it's entirely 100% childish humor. Very, very lame and bizarre jokes. Yeah, but it's not a bad game, okay? Like, it's not a bad game. It's not a $70 game either. Do I get a super chat for $70 in order to play Ratchet and Clank, please? Moving on. It's not a bad game. It's just like, ah! And it's like one of the only exclusives. So let's see what we got. We got outrageous weaponry. Like, apparently, if you have like different PlayStation 5 games, you can take weapons from those games. Like, for example, if you have God of War, maybe you can take the axe or something like that. That's interesting. New faces. So you get like this female version of Ratchet. It's kind of cool. Stunning visuals. I agree. And that's pretty much it, right? For $70. Tempest 3D audio tech on compatible headphones. Immerse your ears in a 3D spatial environment, enabling you to hear everything about... No, like, the game isn't bad, okay? But... Right, so that's my take on it. Why would you get a PlayStation 5? Like, this is the only game you can play on PlayStation 5. That and Demon's Souls. Like, that's the only reason you could get it, so... Would be fun if I had a PlayStation, I could start playing Ratchet and Clank for you guys, huh? Would be a good joke after making this video. But anyway, right? Let's talk about other things. Stop enjoying things. Shut up, Tactical Droid. You know, Tactical Droid, it's required for a person to at least reach the age of 70 before he turns into an old grouch and keeps complaining about the new generation. If you're doing this now, what are you going to do when you're 70, huh? Huh? Alright, let's talk about this one. When PS4 came out, it was only 400 euros. Okay, so there's a difference. Like, right now, there is a shortage of computer chips that a lot of manufacturers have to deal with, which is why you see a scarcity when it comes to PlayStations, when it comes to video cards, when it comes to new cars that are made, like they have analog speedometer rather than digital. So that's why like a lot of prices have increased, but there's no games. There are no more games. Every single thing is sequelitis and very few games. What games are coming out? Huh? Can you name them? Because I can count them on my fingers. There's usually like 10 major titles every year. It used to be every month that you get 10 major titles. So now you need to pay $1,000 for PlayStation 5 and you need to pay $70 for the game. He bought a PS5 and he's playing his PS4 games. Hey, give me $70 so I can buy Ratchet and Clank. I'll borrow the console from my friend. Anyway, right. You know what they call this in Romania? They call it when the fox doesn't reach the grapes. The fox says the grapes are sour. It's an old Romanian fable with a fox that wanted to get some grapes, but they were too high up, so it couldn't reach it. And then the fox says, oh, well, they're probably sour anyway. Yeah, it's like when a person can't get something, they say that the thing they can't get is probably bad. You know? Who likes Ratchet and Clank? Fuck Ratchet and Clank. Can I have $70 to play Ratchet and Clank? Anyway, right. I still can't get over this article. I still want to talk about it. So I discussed it on my main channel and I got a couple of criticisms which I'm going to address now. You're saying that the fox is stupid just because you can't have the fox. Foxes eat grapes. I don't know. Stop challenging the moral of the story. Oh, they have the sour grapes fable too? Okay. Well, if they have it, then I guess I couldn't enlighten them. The criticisms that I got for working from home is no longer fun. It's like a lot of people said that they're middle management in their company, and there's a lot of workers that work from home who are underperforming. And my question is like, I'm not saying that people should work from home. Like, I'm not encouraging people to stay home and work. What I am saying, you dolt, who don't understand my language, and it's my language because I'm definitely not speaking English. Like, sometimes I make grammatical errors and stuff. What I am saying is that people should be allowed to choose. Give people their freedom. What is wrong if a person works from home and delivers, and a person works from the office and delivers? Why can't they have the choice? Why can't people choose to work from home is my question, if the job allows it. Obviously, if you're a construction worker, you can't work from home. But if you're in the IT department, and it's possible that the job you're doing allows you to work from home, why shouldn't the person work from home? That's my question. Okay? So, the second one is like, well, people who work from home, they miss their deadlines, they're underperforming. Fire them! Fire them! Like, what? Do you think there aren't people who go to the office and miss deadlines and underperform? What happens to those people? Treat them the same. Treat them exactly the same as if they're front office or they're working at home. There is no difference. I genuinely don't get the controversy. There is no controversy here. Zero controversy unless you're a billionaire that invested money in real estate. Okay, if you're a billionaire and invested money in real estate and it's not selling because companies don't want to expand because half of their workers work from home, so they need less office space, there is no controversy. And obviously, like, there's some companies that decided, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to hire more HR. And we're going to hire even more HR because then they're going to supervise the people working from home and productivity is going to go up. No, your mindset is wrong. It's not. The only reason productivity is going down is because your mindset is still adequate to the people working from the office. Like, you still think that spying on them 24/7 is going to fix shit. No, what fixes shit is like, give them deadlines. It's like, I want this solved by tomorrow. And then you don't give a shit. If the guy manages to finish the job in 2 hours, good for him. If it takes 15 hours for him to solve it, tough. Okay, if you gave him a reasonable working quota, you gave him something reasonable to do, then it's up to him to decide if he can finish it in 30 minutes or if he can finish it in 15 hours. But even then, okay, like the other thing that people say is that, well, if you work from home, it's a lot difficult to get a promotion, right? So if you have like a woman who has children and she works from home, she's not going to be promoted. So this affects company diversity because it creates the gender pay gap and whatnot. And my question is like, so you're saying that women should be forced to work at the office, is what you're saying. You're saying that if someone chooses to work from home, it's not in their best interest. It's like, who the fuck decides what their best interest is? What if you have a person that doesn't want to become the CEO? What if you have a person that just wants to do a job, get paid, and spend more time with the family? Why is this mindset bad? Why is this mindset wrong? If you have someone that legitimately like is fine where they are, they don't want to become the boss, okay? Like, they don't want to become the leader, they don't want the hassle of leadership, they just want to do their job, get paid, and spend more time with the kids. Why is this a bad value to have? Why is this a bad mind? Why does everyone need to make more money? Like, what if someone is happy with the money they're making? They're like, okay, this is my household, this is how much I consume, I don't need a PlayStation 5, I don't need to buy the new Ratchet and Clank for $70. I'm happy with the way I am. I earn enough. I can pay my bills on time. I can feed myself and my family. I'm happy with my position. Why do they need to be so driven, so ambitious that they need to become the boss? Yeah, literally, family equals bad. Like, this is what really bothers me with the current corporate culture. Is that your family is not what's important. It's the corporate family that's important. My God, the most cringe thing is when they give nicknames to their employees. Does your company do this? Okay, now let's have a heart-to-heart. Now is the time for the heart-to-heart. Does your company pull this shit on you? Like, if you work at a company called Widgets, They will give you a nickname. They'll be like, we are the Ouija family. So us Ouijas, or something like that. You see the HR lady going, us Ouijas. Like, bitch, I have a name. Call me by that. Stop giving me nicknames. I'm not your fucking pet. Zoomers will never know the joy of spawn killing the Axis with a mortar in Wolfenstein on the Bank Rush map. I haven't played the Wolfenstein map, but I do know what you're talking about, spawn killing and whatnot. That's what the gang say, huh? Dumb take V, if you aren't driven thy work to begin with. I don't get what you're saying. If you want to spend more time with your children to provide an education for your kids, there is nothing wrong with that. You don't need to try to be the best. Now, if you want to be the best, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, people should be able to choose the values that they want. If you want to be the type of person that lives in a rural land and grow your own shit, why is that a bad value? Why is that something evil? I don't get it. And if you're the type of person that wants to be the best, okay? If you're the type of ambitious person that wants to be number one at the workplace, allowing people to choose when half of your employees stay at home and they're going to be passed for a promotion, that's in your interest, you dumbass. Like, that's literally in your interest to allow people to choose. You don't lose anything. If you are business oriented and you're hyper competitive and you want to become the new team leader, then allowing people to choose means less competition for you. More people at home, less people at the office, a lot bigger chance for you to shine. I do not see the counter argument for this. There is none. There is no counter argument. Literally none. It's evil because of racism. I don't think that there is a racial divide whether people want to stay at home or not. I can see a gender divide. There was a study which showed that women with children get to stay at home, and that's probably because a lot of women gain custody. Right? So if you have a divorce, the judge is more likely to give the kid to the woman, and therefore more women having kids, more women are going to choose to spend more time at home with the kids if they're allowed to. That makes sense. It's logical. Okay. But it's still their choice. Like, they don't have to. I don't think it's a good mentality for a worker to have. Why do you care? If the worker manages to complete the job in a timely manner, if he manages to finish the work in a timely manner, why does that bother you? The company saves money. The company pays less on electricity. The company pays less on utilities. Why is it a problem? Now, if the worker doesn't, if the worker is lazy, misses the deadlines, treat them like you treat an office worker that's lazy and misses the deadlines. I think is that you don't strive to perfection to be perfect, you strive to perfection to be good rationale applied to the wage work, which is honestly wasted zeal. Employees want more competent and driven people. That's why employers decide to hire only driven, competitive people. Man, you can be competitive and driven from home. I don't get it. Do you think you can't be competitive and driven from home? You finish your work in time and then you ask for more. And then you're driven and competitive. The fuck is this mentality? Look at this nonsense. America, your family misses you. They haven't seen you for over a year and it's time for a nationwide family reunion. I'm talking about your office family. Abdi Muhammad, do you have an office family? Do you go to see your mommy and daddy at the workplace, Abdi? Is this what a competitive person does? You go to see mommy and daddy at HR? By the way, if you are working from home and you're saying that the problem is your house, like this guy is saying, look here, even I miss my workplace, even though I'm moderately introverted, we at the Cubicle Drones have proven we can get the job done from home. But much as we all adore our families, we've all had enough face-to-face interaction with our household relatives to last us for a decade. Okay, if you had way too much face-to-face with your family to last you for a decade, then maybe your problem is with your house management. Maybe that's it. Jesus fucking Christ. This guy is so deep into the wage cage. You need to send people after him to get him out. This is the type of guy that when the wage cage opens, he clings to the bars. So people can't get him out. My entire take is it should be up to the employer if they're going to let their employees work from home. Well, it's always up to the employer. You don't get it. The employer, in this situation, allows people to choose whether they want to work from home or not. And you have like a massive propaganda campaign, both from the left and to the right, to convince the employer not to let people to work from home. All right, like this is what's going on. The employer is allowing the choice, but the media is trying to convince HR and to convince people within those companies to pressure the employer to stop letting people work from home. That's what you're talking about. Let's just be clear on it. Oh, Dios mío. But even then, like, look at the advantages of working from home, right? So, dislike riding the subways. In other words, you're now saving money for the commute. No more rush hour. Like I thought the left is all about Mother Gaia. I thought the corporations are all about, the carbon emissions. How many people do not use a car to go to work? Why is there a rush hour? It's because everyone is trying to go to work, right? So less of this, less pollution. Oh my fucking God, I might actually become on the side of Greta Thunberg here. Yeah, Greta Thunberg, tell businesses to let workers do their job from home. Working from home is worthless. Just because you can't do it, Abdi Muhammad, doesn't mean I can't. I've been working from home for the last 6 years. Look at my content. You love the shit out of it. Why are you here? Because you love what I do. Where do I work from? From home, Muhammad. From home. A census survey found that people were working remotely more than usual in 37% of households during the pandemic. Getting back in the groove and going to the office will yield all sorts of psychological, emotional, and economic benefits. When the fuck did someone go to the office in order to get emotional benefits? Yes, Abdi, you did the work from home and you didn't enjoy it. And I'm saying you should be able to choose to go back to the office. How am I the villain here? By saying you can choose to work from the office. Go to the office, Abdi. Go to the office. Stay there. No one is telling you shouldn't. But you know what, Adi? You know what? Even if you were to say, well, V, if everyone chooses to work from home, then the offices would close. Why don't you talk to your employees, with your fellow employees, and go to a Starbucks with the computers? Who's stopping you? Well, why don't you invite your fellow workers at your home? Invite them home and you can work from your home. Everyone should be at the... My God, like, this is the type of person that, like, everyone should be like I am. Everyone should do what I do. How dare they choose not to be in my place? You know what, Abdi? I take it back. I'm going to become an authoritarian. I think at the office, it should be just you and your HR lady. That's it. Just you and your HR lady at the office. Can you realize? Like, he's going to snuck up to that HR lady so bad, he's going to get the promotion in a week. Look, he hates his fellow workers. If you hate your fellow workers, why the fuck do you want to go to the office? I don't understand. Whatever. My company did a poll. 80% wants to continue to work from home. Man, you don't know how bad it is. There's companies that are saying, hey, if you still want to work from home, you're going to get like a 10% pay cut. Do you know what's funny? People take the 10% pay cut. Do you know why they take the 10% pay cut? Because 10% is probably what it costs to them to commute. That's what it costs to them to get the bus every day. That's what it costs to them to put gas in the car every day. It's probably 10% just to go to the office. Probably 10% more to go back from the office. If you think about it, right? Like you're driving to the office, and then it's like you see a kiosk and you're stopping there and you're buying cigarettes and you're buying shit, right? You're buying more than you need. Why? Like if you don't go to work, you save money. Do you know how much money people save by staying home? Like, it's in your financial interest. You know, you do what you want. I'm not saying you should go to work. Like, if you want to go to the office, if you want to be an Abdi Muhammad, be an Abdi Muhammad and go to the office. Fine. Okay, but I'm telling you, financially, you can save more money by staying the fuck home. For people like me that are surrounded by social justice warriors at work, working from home is a blessing. I want to see a debate between BD and Abdi Muhammad. I would pay money for that. Put them to debate. Abdi is based. He understands that choices are bad and that all beliefs must be ruthlessly totalizing. Tactical droid, you'll fit right into the office because that's what HR thinks. Like, HR is going to love you. It costs 1 gallon of gas every other day. How much is that in dollars, Tamba? Like, how much do you pay? So 1 gallon of gas. How much is 1 gallon of gas? Let's see. You know, like, okay. So in the case of Tamba, I'm going to do the Tamba experiment now. So 1 gallon of gas. 1 gallon of gas every other day. So what is the price for 1 gallon of gas? Let's say you're in California now, right? Very progressive place. I'm pretty sure the gas prices are low there because they're very progressive. They care about the working class, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. 4.222. Is this like $4 a gas? $4 of gas. I don't have a car. I don't fucking know. All right, so $4 of gas every other day. Let's see how much is it. So $4 times 15. Holy fucking shit. Jesus. Under Biden, it's 150. Oh my god. $4 a gas. Holy shit. Like, if you were to make during the Trump era, right? The Trump era is what they called it. Who do you work for, Stacy? I forgot. During the Trump era, if I would have seen these, like, let's say you make a video game, right? Which takes place in 2040. And in that video game, you walk past a gas station and you get to see this. I would have been like, nah, what are you doing? Let me show you something else, alright? Like, let me show you the best part. I don't know if I'm going to find a picture of it. But, in Resident Evil 2, when you go past the gas station, there is a billboard that shows you the gas prices. So I'm doing my... yeah. So in Resident Evil 2 Remake, if you buy the game, you can walk past the gas prices in Resident Evil 2. And you can see this. And by the way, people were complaining back then that the price of gas is too expensive. Look at Tactical Droid's dumb mindset. You either perish a wagey or live long enough to see yourself become the HR officer. Tactical Droid, if you want to become the HR officer, you don't become the HR officer by being the wagey. The wagey doesn't get promoted to HR no matter how good he is. If you want to be promoted to HR, you need to do a university degree in the gender studies, some studies, you know, African American studies, diversity studies, right? And then you can be hired as an HR consultant. You don't become an HR consultant by joining the company as a wagey. Where the fuck do you think you are? And by the way, like companies in California now require HR offices if they're over a couple of dozen employees. I think it's like 30 employees or something. If you're a company that has like more than X employees, you need to have an HR. And you can't just hire a wagey to be the HR. No, like they need to see that they have license. They finished the university. Watch Die Hard. You get to see the gas prices when it was filmed. It is $0.89. Jesus Christ. It really depends about inflation as well. So I have an idea that could fix most workplaces. You can take as many breaks as you want as long as you do your job efficiently. Man, I'll tell you something that I really despised about workplaces. And I don't know how many of you work, but like this is something that I really, really hated working at the hospital, right? So I was doing my job as a microbiologist, and I was surrounded by a lot of ladies who loved, like absolutely they loved to constantly gossip and talk at the workplace, right? And I just couldn't handle that. Like they just kept socializing and talking, and I didn't like that. I just focused on my job. And because I focused on my job, I was finishing by 10 a.m. Like I went to the workplace at 7, and in 3 hours I was done. Like I finished doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then I was bored, right? So I couldn't go home because obviously like no one would let you go home at 10 a.m. So I was bored. I was playing on my phone. I was doing something. And I got in trouble with my boss because my boss was like, why aren't you working? And I'm like, I finished the work, right? And like all the other people were complaining because I was doing nothing. And eventually, like, I'm not the type of person that just takes it. Like, I'm not the type of person that just goes like, yes, whatever. No, so I go to the boss at my office and I tell him, it's like, look, I finished working. Like, I did everything. There's nothing I can do, right? What am I supposed to be doing? Because if I just go on my phone, people will complain. And it's like, well, act busy. And these two words have been etched on my brain ever since. Like, this is a concept that I just can't get behind. Like, act busy. Why the fuck do you mean act busy? What is acting busy? Why would I act busy? Give me something to do. Make me busy. You're paying me, you moron. You're literally paying me to be there. Give me some shit. Give me a job. Give me a workload. Fuck me. Like, but again, you know, this is what you get for not gossiping. This is what you get for not socializing. But of course it was a public hospital, so he's not really paying me, right? The fuck does act busy mean? Don't get me started, Kelly, with capitalism. This happened under socialism as well. 10 times worse. Because under socialism, you're not paid by a boss. You're not paid by an employee. By an employer, sorry. You're not being paid by an employer. You're being paid by someone who doesn't care about your productivity, so knock yourself out. I guess it's literally the same mentality, except people also steal from the workplace. But again, it's not capitalism. It was a state-run hospital. The government ran it. It was a state-run hospital. It wasn't a private hospital. I guarantee to you, if I go to a private hospital, I don't think I need to act busy. Fucking hell. It's like, what is wrong with communists? Like, every single thing is socialism. It's capitalism. Every single thing that's bad is capitalism. There are things that are bad everywhere. I don't know if I go in Saudi Arabia, where they have a monarchy over there, very theocratic place, if people act or don't act busy. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if people have to act busy there as well. A little unrelated, V, but chat, would you ever become a male stripper if it meant you could pay the gas prices? What would your wife, girlfriend say? Okay, if I were to make $10,000 a month, I would become a male stripper. Just, I don't know who would watch me. I don't know. But I would tell my wife, girlfriend, woman, I'm bringing $10,000 into the house. Shut the fuck up. You are paid by the worker co-op under socialism. How would that be any different? How would the fuck would that be any different if you're being paid by the worker co-op or not? You're still answering to a guy. You're not talking to the entire worker co-op. You still get a boss, right? You're still hierarchical. You still need someone to manage things. Whatever. How about you act like I'm busy? Oh shit, that would have been a great response. That would have been a great response. Just like tell my boss, you know, why don't you act like I'm busy? No, but like that was the thing that I really, really hated when I was at work. Like the act busy thing. Like, and this is why I would prefer working from home. Like if I worked from home, well, obviously I couldn't at my job, but if it was possible to work from home, I would just do my job, finish, and then I don't have to act busy. Okay, if I finish it on time, I finish it on time. And if I want to get a promotion, like if I really want to show that I'm the best employee of the month, I ask for more work. I'm like, I finished. Can I have more, please? I'm an excellent employee. Give me more. Because the workers would vote against the acting busy policies? Really, Kelly? Really? Are the politicians always voting for the people's interest? Do you honestly think people can't get corrupt? Do you honestly think that the workers with the money wouldn't have more money in order to do more campaigning for them? To get vote? Like, it really depends on the company you're talking about. If you're talking about a company with 10 employees, then yeah, maybe, you're right. But if you're talking about a company that would have like 100,000 employees, or 200,000 employees, then I think it would be just like a government at that point. Yeah, sure, every worker gets to vote. Yeah, but it's going to be the workers that have the more money in order to campaign harder that are going to be the ones being elected as representatives. Anyway. When was the last customer that went to management and said, your employee over there is just not working, it bothers me? No, I kind of get it in a way. It's not the customer that complains, it's the employees that complain, right? So the other employees, they don't like seeing someone that's having fun and not working because they view it as, well, why can he do it and I can't I? You know, like that type of mentality. But again, if the guy finished his job, if he finished his job, why the fuck do you care? Finish your job and then you can be next to that guy. Better than not getting a vote. Oh, well, Kelly, if you want a fucking vote, buy some stocks in your company, Kelly. Go on Robinhood, buy stocks in your company, and then you can vote. Jesus. In fact, you can buy even more stocks. You get more power to vote. Capitalism is a dictatorship that forbids you from buying stocks, Kelly, huh? You can't buy stocks, can you? Fucking difficult. Buy the stocks and you can vote. Jeez. Employees buy stocks as well. No, but seriously, like if every single employee would buy stocks in their company, then they can vote. And you'll notice that almost nothing changes. Anyway, right, I got interrupted. So, it's satisfying to be in the presence of other people solving problem while advancing towards a common goal, even if you work for widgets, gadgets, and blah, for blah, 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 blah. He experienced fatigue with the virtual meeting platform, having had as many as 19 online meetings in a single day. Okay, so this CEO is experiencing fatigue from Zoom, which means you need to get the fuck back to your cage. I think the problem with the CEO of Zoom isn't that he is having 19 online meetings, is that he is having 19 meetings a day. Yes, if I were to have 19 meetings a day, then obviously I would be experiencing fatigue as well. Fuck me, like all these arguments. No, seriously, like the argument that this guy is making, right, is that you should be forced to work from the office because the CEO from Zoom is fatigued having 19 online meetings in a single day. Why is he having 19 meetings in a day? Okay, like that is obviously the problem. But secondly, no one is stopping people to go to the office. And if you're saying, oh, don't work from home because your CEO is now going to be fatigued, tough shit. Then my CEO gets to feel like I feel. Do you not think that workers also get more work than they can do in a day? Do you not think that workers can also get overloaded? What is this argument? Like I should feel bad for my CEO who bought a yacht the other day? Like the other day he bought another yacht and I should feel bad that he's being overworked? Good! He's being paid the most. He should be overworked. He should work harder than everyone else at the company. He's the fucking boss. God. The Earth will run out of resources long before we get to travel and colonize other planets. we're busy promoting intersectionality and babysitting in Africa. No, that's not the case. I mean, yes, companies are busy promoting that shit, but at the same time, they're thinking on how they can overwork you even more. I'm fucking real. Meanwhile, over the past year, America has added almost as many inches to its waistline as its dollars to its deficit. Oh, so now the problem... No, this is the argument. Now the problem is that if you're sitting at home, you're getting fat. Do you honestly think that if you sit at the office, it's not the same shit? Do you think people jog to the office? Do you think people take a bicycle to the office? Unbelievable. Now they're fat shaming you to go to the office. If your job is making you lose weight, okay, if your job is manually intensive, is probably most likely a job that you're not doing from home anyway, okay? If you're into construction, if you're into, I don't know, like what other jobs, like if you're a fitness trainer, you're probably not working from home. A Harris poll found that 42% of Americans reported gaining during the pandemic, gaining weight. They're not gaining weight because they're sitting home, you moron. They are gaining weight because they have nothing to do. They're depressed. People who are depressed stuff their face with food. Okay? They couldn't go out. They had more money. Like, they had more money because they saved money on the rush hour. They saved money on buses. They saved money on this shit. So now they're staying home. They have nothing to do with the money. They can't go on a trip. They can't go out. They can't have fun. So they want to spend the money on something nice. So they're buying food. That's what they're doing. They're just buying junk food. That's why they're getting fat. They're not getting fat because they're not going to the office. Assuming that there's some problem, some concern that I personally have with people gaining weight. And the only solution is to send them to the office. Send them to the gym. You can still go to the gym. You can still go to the gym and not go to the office. There are like a huge list of shit that you can do in order to fix all these problems before going to the office. Honestly, it's like... getting up and moving around and being more than 15 feet away from the pantry, people didn't eat from the pantry, okay? No one that stood home during this time has cooked. I don't know a single person that during the pandemic went like, oh, I'm cooking more than usual. People who cooked before cooked after, and people who didn't cook before didn't cook after. Oh my god, like, no, look, if people work from home, they're going to become like Wall-E. Yeah. No. Kelly, don't make me go to the other leftist article where they're complaining that if people work from home, it affects diversity, okay? Because for some reason, the left and the right have agreed that people need to go back to their wage cage. Like, when I see bipartisan shit, that's when I get a little bit freaky. I start to wonder, what is the actual interest behind this? And consider the social perks. Remember when you could ask, how was your day today, honey? And not know the answer? Going to the office every day gives you and your spouse something to talk about again over dinner. Who wrote this shit? Who wrote this garbage? Kyle Smith. What other articles does Kyle Smith write? I'm curious now. Biden throws his clueless vice president under the bus. Okay, that seems based. Burning of Ellie Kemper shows we're living in a modern-day Salem witch trial. All right. Celebrities will lecture America but apologize like John Cena to China. Nancy Pelosi... This article is bizarre, Kyle Smith. Go to the office so you can improve your relationship with your wife. Go to the office so you can talk with your wife. Man, if you have nothing to talk with your wife but work-related shit, maybe it's not... Maybe going to the office isn't the problem. Okay? How about this? Look, Abdi Mohammed agrees to the wife. Abdi Mohammed agrees with it. Okay, Abdi, All right, I'll fix your relationship, okay? I understand you have a very stereotypical name here, Abdi. Right? A lot of people name Mohammed. So I don't want to judge. I don't know like how is like in Sweden, where you're from. I know he's from Sweden. Do you have like 1, 2, 3 wives? Do you have more wives? Like I don't know. I don't want to assume. I don't like assuming. Okay, like we live in a progressive time. People are more progressive. How about this? Okay, get your wife or wives or whatever and watch a Netflix movie, and then at dinner you can talk about that. How about that, Abdi? How about he doesn't have a wife? If you don't have a wife, why the fuck do you agree with Kyle Smith then? How can you agree with Kyle Smith if you don't have a wife? Seriously, how? Chat, explain to me how come Abdi Muhammad agrees with Kyle Smith when he doesn't have a wife? You need to have a wife to agree with Kyle Smith on the idea that unless you go to work, you can't actually talk with your wife. Oh my God. Yeah, pay a hooker, Abdi. No, is that right? Pay a hooker. Okay, sex work is real work, the leftist told me. Pay a hooker and have her over. Don't have sex with her, but have dinner and tell her about your day. Or talk to her about her day, her workplace. And you know what? The hooker, Abdi, works from home, doesn't she? Are you going to complain? Are you going to call the hooker to the office? How the hooker manages to work from the from home? Huh? Like hookers have been working from home since time immemorial. How are they managing to do it? Yes, Kelly, please tell me what Mentat has said. Screw the gym, just get yourself a workout equipment. I guess like the gym is a little bit different because it's like that space that puts me in the mindset. By the way, I would probably work from the office too. Like if it was up to me, okay? If I were to go to the office to do my YouTube videos, I would probably do that. But at the same time, I wouldn't take away people's choice. People who want to work from home. Like that's fine. If you want to work from home, work from the fucking home. So weird. Anyway, I love the Vosh worker co-op argument. I'm not against co-ops. I don't know why people think I'm against worker co-ops. What I am against is telling non-co-ops that they can't exist. Like if you want to start a worker co-op, start a worker co-op. What's stopping you? But even then, it's like the idea of the worker co-op. Like I don't get it. Just buy stocks in the company. Buy shares in the company you work at. If every single worker in the company buys shares, then they get to vote. I guarantee to you, if it's a small company, maybe you'll notice a difference. Okay? If it's a large company with 100,000 workers, you're not going to notice much of a difference. It's going to be the same shit like the elections for the city hall. Like there's rural areas with less than 100,000 people that elect a representative, and it's corrupt as fuck. I don't really understand like this way too much faith into the voting system because it's still the rich that are going to get votes. If it's not the rich, it's the charismatic. It's not going to be necessarily like a meritocratic system. I'm not deleting the stream. I'm not playing songs either. Anyway, going to the office also means that once in a while you could do something wild, like not be home for dinner at 6 p.m. Why the fuck? Why in the world would I not want to be home for dinner at 6 p.m.? Why would I not want to be home for dinner? How on earth is Kelly Smith selling me the idea that not being home at 6 p.m. a good thing? What is wrong with you? Oh my god, like that, just make me do the propaganda. I'll make better arguments. Holy shit. Look at this. Going to the office means that once in a while you could even do something wild, like not be home for dinner at 6 p.m. because you're still out doing stuff with people other than family. Yeah, it's called working. No one likes it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people like working, but not at 6 p.m. The fuck likes working at 6 p.m.? Maybe you got to find a couple of individuals that are so weird they like to work at 6 p.m. rather than being home with their wife. Okay? But those people probably have family problems like that. And even then, nothing is stopping them from working. It's literally for people that hate their family. It would be so interesting to see this journalist family and his relationships. It's just like bizarre for what he is writing. Jesus. And for those of us with small children at home, what a bliss it will be to spend at least some days in the company of adults. Go to a Starbucks. Okay? If you can't go to the office and you have to stay home, go to a fucking Starbucks. I don't understand this. Like, it's like, what? I get it, okay? I don't have kids yet. So I don't know how it's like to spend time with young children that are crying all the time. Alright? But from my personal experience talking with other people who are fathers, they don't complain that much. They actually think it's nice. They actually enjoy spending time with their kids. But okay, let's say you don't. Let's say you really don't enjoy having time with your children. Why can't you just go to a Starbucks and work from there? You're a journalist. You just write shit. You don't have to go to an office to write shit. You can talk to some other journalists. You can talk to 3 other journalists and go to a Starbucks and write stuff together. It's not like you're sending rockets to space. It's not like your work is very intellectually intensive. I mean, given this article, that it doesn't require much intelligence to write it. So like, why can't you? No one is suggesting anything bonkers like getting on a train and going to work for 5 days a week. No, you're suggesting that people should work until 6 p.m. You fucking... but it would do us all good to bust out of our homes once in a while and revel in another quirks, habits, clothing choices, and thoughts. Okay, first of all, as a guy, I can tell you this, due to gender stereotypes, due to the patriarchy, as a man, I never thought about clothing choices. Alright? Like, I never... Hey, is there any man in the chat? Like, I'm legitimately curious. Is there a guy in the chat that found yourself immersed in a conversation for more than 10 minutes with another guy about clothing choices? Unless you're talking, it's like, oh yeah, those jeans look really nice on Kelly Miller's ass. Okay? Unless you're talking about that, I'm really curious if this conversation popped up. It's like, you know what, clothing choices. Oh, yeah. Like, did you see the new fashion of blah, 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 blah? The system loves it when you work and loves it and hates it when you love your family. You're a customer? Okay, well, maybe. Okay, I'll take it back. Like, the only time it's acceptable for a man to talk about clothes for more than 15 minutes is if he works at a clothing store and a lady comes in. The based fashion man. Yeah, is there a based fashion man? This doesn't happen. Like, the reason I'm bringing it up is that I'm really curious to see, like, the type of conversation this journalist has. Fuck me. Don't tell me Zoom is just as good as reality. It isn't. Many people working from home have actually reported feeling burned out, and nearly half of adults working from home experience stress, anxiety, or depression, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. Well, I mean, you know, if I'm the type of person that doesn't want to stay at the office until 6 p.m., and I'm the type of person that can work from home, I mean, I guess I changed my mind now that the Kaiser Family Foundation decided to step in. Look, no one is saying that people are less productive if they work from home. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that some people don't have anxiety or depression levels rising if they work from home. I'm not saying that either. What I am saying, however, is that if a person chooses to work from home and fits his daily quotas and manages to show the work on time, then I don't see the problem. And by the way, Kelly Miller, I'll tell you something about studies, okay? Let me show you something about studies, because I think now that you agree on the topic, you can see why studies are something that the academics should take and stuff in their asshole. Okay? So you get like studies like this, okay? New health risk to working remote from work, right? So if you work from home, depression's level rise, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'll tell you the problem with this shit. Let's say that beyond a shadow of a doubt, you were to conclude that, yes, every single person who works from home is more depressed and is also more anxious and his mental health is taking a downturn. Do you know what the problem with this study would be, Kelly? Like, if you were to actually say that, yes, half of the people who work from home are more depressed and their mental well-being is taking a toll. The problem with this study would be that it doesn't take into account other factors. So the other factors might be that while the people work from home, they also can't go out because of the fucking lockdowns. They can't go on a trip. They can't go clubbing. They can't go out. They can't see any other people. It's got jack shit to do with working from home. The problem would be that they're not able to spend the money that they're earning, so they feel kind of like a slave. They feel like a slave because they're working, and with the money that they're working, they should buy something good for them. But they can't buy anything good for them because everything is fucking closed. So while the study would show that, yes, people who work from home are more depressed, you did not correlate the existence of depression with the working from home, because that's not the only thing that changed in their life. You can't go dating. You can't meet another person to form a romantic relationship. You can't see other people face to face because everything is fucking closed. So this is why people like me hate studies. Because even if the study kind of makes sense and you're thinking, yes, working from home creates depression, and this is just one example. I can give you an example with other studies, right? Usually the academics don't take into account other factors. Like, have they eliminated other factors? Have they tried to see if the people who work from home, besides the fact that they're working from home, their entire life is the same? Like, they still go out clubbing, they still go out on the trips, they still date, they still see the lady they like. USA Today published an article on why you shouldn't talk about politics at work now that you are going back. No, I agree. You shouldn't talk about politics. You shouldn't talk about sports. You shouldn't talk about religion at work. Like, if you have something that is inherently divisive, like, you know that just by bringing it up, you're going to have an argument, why would you do it at the workplace? Why would you go at the workplace and say that you're pro-life? Why would you go at the workplace and say that you're for Manchester United? Why the fuck would you do that? What is the point? Like, you're going to create office drama. Why do you want office drama? Just go to the workplace, do your shit, and go home. Find better studies. Oh my god. It's not that there are no better studies. I mean, this one is from the Kaiser Family Foundation. It's a respectable institution. But even if the study is good and accurate, like, they poll people and they ask them, hey, is working from home good for you? That doesn't necessarily mean that the conclusion is that people shouldn't work from home. The conclusion can be the entire lifestyle of the person has changed, and that's why they're depressed. I mean, even if people could still go out clubbing, you still need to take into account the news. Have you watched the news? I mean, there was like this person from CNN on Project Veritas saying it's like, oh, the reason we have the death toll on the corner of the screen is because fear sells. They want a fear monger because that brings in ratings. Like, if we shock people, if we scare people, it's what keeps them glued to the television. So if you have non-stop fear-mongering on television, yeah, people are going to be more depressed. Every single channel you went to last year, it was about fear-mongering. At one point, I remember like Trump saying there's light at the end of the tunnel. He was like selling some hope to people, and the media freaked the fuck out. No, there is no hope. Dum dum dum. My job is an anomaly. Dude, I'm doing literally what the fuck Kyle Smith is doing. There is no difference between me and Kyle Smith. Like, being a YouTuber and talking about the news is exactly the same as working at Sargon's Lotus Eaters and talking about the news. It's literally the same job. Like, do you think that what he did here is something that you can't do? Who the fuck said this? Like, Billy Blogs, do you think you can't write something like this every day as a work? As your job? Do you honestly think you are incapable of writing an article per day as your job, Billy Blogs? Like, most of these journalists don't even need to be good. You're not reading this because it's written by Kyle Smith. You're reading this because it's the New York Post. If the New York Post hires you, Billy Blogs, you're going to be able to write pieces that people will read. So no, like, my job is not out of the ordinary because my job is, like, people say YouTuber. In reality, it's opinion pieces that I'm making. I could literally make the same shit if I work for the New York Post. There is no reason why if you work at the New York Post you shouldn't work from home. There is no reason on earth why journalists shouldn't be able to work from home. Kathy Metal, the CEO of the magazine The Washingtonian, hinted in an op-ed piece last month, it's really easy to fire your employees or simply reduce them to contractor status when you don't see them every day. What the fuck? So you think, Kathy Metal, that being... My fucking god, I can't believe this. So Kathy Metal, because she said that it's easy to fire your employees if you don't see them every day. It's easy, right? So the conclusion is go to work. Do you not understand companies have an HR to fire employees? Do you think the employees and the HR works in the same office? No, usually the HR office is in the fucking basement looking like a dungeon, and they're calling the employees from top to go all the way down to demean themselves like the journey to hell into the HR department where they get fired. They like, companies can fire people even if they don't see them. Going to the office isn't the same like going into the HR department and making friends with the HR lady. And even if the HR lady becomes friends with you, she can fire you anyway. Not to mention, by the way, if you were to actually make... Like, here's how I would have done it, okay? Like, this is how I would have done Kyle Smith's job. So I want to make an article where I want to convince people to go to work, okay? The way I would make the article, it wouldn't be to patronize people and tell them, hey, don't you think it's so great when it's 6 p.m. and you're out working? Don't you miss the time when it's 6 p.m. and you're not home? Shouldn't you go to work and work as much as possible and don't see your family? Right? This is ridiculous. The way you would make this article would be to convince people that it's in their best interest to go to work from home. Okay, I would subcontract Abdi Muhammad to give me some reasons on why going to work is good, and I would be saying like, hey, you know, like, the article would be, because people can work from home, now going to the office is a great promotional opportunity. That's how I would make the article. And then I would say, you know, people who work from home, people who work from the office have more chance to fraternize with the higher ups. They have more chance to show themselves and shine in front of their the HR department. They're more likely to form connections and network. And even though it's bad to go to the office and blah 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 blah, if you want a promotion, it's something you need to do, because nowadays companies promote people that are more charismatic than the people who work hard. Okay, that's how I would do it. I would do it without embarrassing myself. But anyway, I still didn't get $70 to buy Ratchet and Clank. I guess I'm going to be Ratchet and Clankless. You know that deep inside, chat, deep inside, despite of all the controversy and the hatred, and I know Tactical Droid is going to hate me for this, but deep inside, I want this, chat. Deep inside, I really want this. Is my lifelong ambition to buy this game. I really need it. It's the only thing missing from my life right now. Do you want me to? Well, okay. So people in the chat are talking about Wikipedia. Here's the thing with Wikipedia. Like at my university, they wouldn't let you use Wikipedia articles. Okay, it's not a reliable source. Even the owners of Wikipedia say it's not a reliable source. But what you can do with Wikipedia? Let me give you an example. So let's go on Wikipedia. And let's look for Ratchet and Clank. So this is how you use Wikipedia properly. All right. You click on the sources, and then you look at the source itself. So for example, they're saying let's see. What are they saying? The first game Ratchet and Clank released, and they revamped Ratchet characters as they felt the first game portrayed him as a jerk. And now he's different, right? So you click on this, and it takes you to this. And then you actually read the source. All right? Like that. Then you... Oh my fucking god, Variety magazine, really? Then you read the source material. That's how you browse Wikipedia. You don't read this. This is garbage, okay? And take into account that what you're reading here might not be the full picture. So there might be context missing. And that's how you read Wikipedia. You just look at the sources. Because a lot of times they either misinterpret the source or it's a completely biased source. So for example, if you go, I don't know, to Gamergate, right? So what is Gamergate? Well, Gamergate was the idea. Let me look at the super chat. Never date an HR girl. Chat, they cheat my friend. Had that happen to him? I don't know, man. I would date an HR girl because they got connections and then they can give you a good job. Take a look at the Elden Ring trailer. Tomorrow I will do that. I complain about Ratchet and Clank, but my PayPal link is broken. Why is... I don't get it. I really don't get it. The PayPal link on my main channel works just fine. But the PayPal link on this channel, I keep updating, and it still works bad. Let me... Hold on. I'll give you my link in a bit. I mean, it's Ratchet and Clank. Like, I need to fix this ASAP. And then we're going to go into what I was talking previously. Why is this like... it's really annoying because I just copy-paste the link from my main channel into my secondary. And for some reason, it's still not working. So, okay, hopefully it's updated. Alright, so going back to Gamergate, right? Like that now, Gamergate is actually very easy to explain to people who don't understand why the interpretation, like the official interpretation, is bullshit, right? So if you look at Gamergate, what was it? It was gamers complaining that journalists are offering payola. So in other words, if you are a video game developer and you're making a video game, if you want good grades from the corporations, you got to go to the journalists and give them a little bit whining and dining, right? Now, Basically, what it was an attack on the video gaming press, which said that gamers, so it was an attack on the video gaming press, calling them out for being incestuous with the game developers. So if you were friends with a game journalist, if you had sex with a game journalist, then your game would get promoted. If you didn't do all that, it wouldn't get promoted. Now, obviously, this is corruption and people didn't like it. And of course, the gaming press spin this as an allegation of sexism, right? Like, people who play video games are sexist. And I'm thinking like, okay, so when I was a gamer, I was just being harassed by beautiful women everywhere, and I just didn't know how to keep them at bay. Is this the mentality, right? Like, is this what they're saying? They're saying that as a gamer in the 90s, I had just so many women around me that I wanted to keep them out from playing video games. But when you go to the Wikipedia page about the Gamergate controversy, you go down and you look at the sources, and all the sources happen to be the exact same articles, the exact same publications that were accused of being corrupt. So you have a scandal between gamers and journalists. You have a scandal between gamers and publications. And Wikipedia makes an article saying gamers are bad, sources the publications. I mean, you can literally have an opposite article that would say that the publications are evil, sources the gamers. Right? So this is the problem, is cherry picking. Like, they're cherry picking. Look, they're cherry picking what Anita Sarkeesian and Stephen Colbert said. Who the fuck cares what Stephen Colbert and Anita Sarkeesian have said in a controversy that they're involved in? Like, if they're literally in the controversy, how can you quote them as an unbiased source? It's like the Israeli and Gaza conflict, okay? And then you would have like a Wikipedia page where you only give quotes from Israel. How do you think the article is going to look like? Now, have another article that only sources the people from Gaza. How do you think the article is going to look like? Like, that is how Wikipedia pushes biased information. It's not necessarily by falsifying or pushing misleading information. It's just by cherry picking the sources that they like and ignoring the sources that they don't like. How am I strawmanning? Yeah, it was the massive censorship that started, because back then the internet didn't have censorship. Like, back then, Reddit looked like 4chan looks now. What? I got money on PayPal? Holy shit, if I got money from PayPal, then I'm going to buy Ratchet and Clank now. I need to do it quick before my fiance finishes her bath, because if she sees me spending $70 on a game, he's going to fucking murder me. Sounds like the same bias you would see with other publications. Yes, absolutely right, Kelly. It is the same bias you see on other publications, except that most people know that other publications have a bias. Like, if people go on Fox News, they know that it's going to have an anti-leftist take, right? If they go on CNN, they know that it's going to have an anti-right-wing take. But for some goddamn reason, whenever people go on Wikipedia, they think it's objective. Like, they think it has no bias. That's the problem that I have with the site. It's not the bias in itself, because like, yeah, okay, you're going to find bias in most places now. I think like there's very few places that don't have biases. Maybe like Pew Research Center, and I mean there's very, very few that I can barely count, which I can say, yeah, these like don't really have biases. Or maybe if they do have biases, that they're very low. I mean, they're not just going to flat out ignore information. They're not going to just flat out pretend something doesn't exist just because they don't like the narrative. Imagine pretending that Wikipedia is magically unbiased. Do you know how many people do that? Like, do you have any idea how many people legitimately think that Wikipedia is not unbiased? It isn't because the info is inherently bad or anything. Well, if you're citing from a source that lies, then technically the info can be bad. So it depends. I mean, okay, the Rolling Stones, perfect example. So the Rolling Stones pushed that fake scandal about the fraternity, which they later decided to pull it back, right? So if you're from Wikipedia and you source that Rolling Stones article, you are sourcing it from somewhere, but the information is bad because the Rolling Stones lied. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe normies think it, but in most scientific discussions, you're not going to find anyone claiming Wikipedia in itself is a reliable source. Do you know that YouTube was actually fact-checking based on Wikipedia for a while? Or was it Google? Yeah, look at this shit. YouTube is adding fact-check links for videos on topics that inspire conspiracy theory. Do you know where they were adding from? Wikipedia. Look. And it's like, okay. Don't tell me that only normies take it seriously. It's not that Wikipedia lies, other publications lie, you can't trust anything mentality, alright? Is that you should use your fucking brain. Here's what I don't get, alright? If you have like fact checkers, which are supposedly able to discern truth from fiction, what is the magic that they use? Are they not human beings? Are they robots? Are they aliens? Like, why can a fact checker tell you the truth from fiction, but you can't do that yourself? Is YouTube a scientific institution? No, but there are scientists that post on YouTube. Some of them had their videos taken down last year. Thank you, Banks Naughty Bits. I appreciate it. I forgot to thank you for the donation. Maybe Wikipedia is more reputable than we are pretending right now. It depends. If you're talking about... Like, if you're looking at, I don't know, who discovered the Zeppelin on Wikipedia, you're probably going to get an accurate information. If you're talking about ideological loaded issues, like very controversial things, you're not going to get accurate information. So it really depends on what you're searching for. If you're looking for, I don't know, like historical people, you're probably going to get accurate information. If you're looking for like modern people, like if you look at Greta Thunberg on Wikipedia, I highly doubt that you're going to find a single negative or critical thing said about her. But if you're looking at Tucker Carlson, then you're probably going to find a lot of things that are negative about him. I heard you, Tactical Droid. Oh yeah, they did censor the Tiananmen Square, yeah. Yeah, but again, I agree with you, Kelly. Yes, every other publication is the same. It's just that Wikipedia has more of an influence when it comes to the normies. And it's not only that. Like, the problem with Wikipedia is that if CNN says something negative about the Covington kids, like slanders the Covington kids, CNN can get sued. Wikipedia can't get sued. They're a platform. So if you try to sue Wikipedia, they will just use their immunity and they will say, well, no, we can't get sued. So that's the main issue. Secondly, you can have journalists that are writing hit pieces and they might use Wikipedia as a source. I've seen that happening. Thank you for the content. It is very much appreciated. Thank you, Luana. I appreciate that. But anyway, right. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to see if I have enough money to buy Ratchet and Clank. I once donated to your PayPal a few years ago because you needed a new microphone, and it turned out it was Lucian Romanians all look alike to me. So this guy, this beautiful subscriber, let me see if I can give him moderator status. Yeah, so Bag said he wanted to donate money, and instead of me, he donated to another Romanian. I'd assume Google read the Wikipedia pages it cites. Kelly, you're so innocent in your assumptions. Why would you assume something like that? Jesus. The cathedral controls all. Anyway, right, I'm going to hop off now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. and I'll see you next day.